The private weather forecaster Skymet has predicted normal monsoons for India for the June to September monsoon season. For more on the story, let's go across to Jatin Singh. He is CEO of Skymet and he joins us in Mumbai. Jatin, hi, welcome to the show. IMD and Skymet, how are they different apart from IMD being government while Skymet is privately owned?
You see, IMD is a superstructure. It is by far, it is the mothership. We couldn't do most things we do without the support of the IMD. It provides base data, it creates data, it stores data. So IMD is a superstructure. Skymet is a service provider that works with business and parts of government which might be not really in the focus of the IMD radar right now. For example, working with energy companies, giving them forecasts that could be used for trading. Now, that's not something that the IMD does. Or working with insurance companies, laying out automatic weather stations for settlement of crop claims. So there is we work in a much more focused and applied manner.
Sure. Jatin, so what are you forecasting for the monsoon this season now?
One is not looking at excess rainfall. There is 0% chance of excess rainfall. So your scenario this year seems to be less than last year, because last year was a La Nina year, which is actually directly related to helps the monsoon. So if the temperature in the oceans drop, the precipitation over India increases, and last year was a surplus monsoon. So right now I would say that everything looks normal. There is a chance that there could be a deficit. There's also a chance that a deficit could be somewhere in August and September, or maybe replace the word deficit with weakness. Somewhere in August and September, the extent of that weakness is not apparent at this point in time.
Jatin, also, how are you looking at it geographically? Because that is one thing very important given the crops that we see in this time around. Yes, normal monsoon. But definitely not excess rain, and one has to wait and watch, because you might be looking at a situation in June where you realize that we're actually getting into a below normal situation. But the split is between 60 and 40, normal and below. How about the geographical distribution of it, Jatin? How are you looking at that one?
There are conventions or climatological. For instance, when there is El Nino, northwest India becomes vulnerable. On the basis of this, if I am sitting today on the 4th of May 2012 and I had to look at two regions, and these are guesses, so there's a high probability of them getting wrong, but this is the best possible guess I can make at this point in time. It would be either the northeast, which is being indicated by models, or it would be the northwest. That is how I would spread my risk above other regions. So I would say that central and south is relatively okay. I would say the northeast would be the most vulnerable, followed by the northwest. And then central and south should be okay. That's how I would see it at this point of time. And these things will change, because right now we are in a phase called the spring predictability barrier. The model outputs, the scientific outlook will change in June, where the machines and the computers will give a better outlook.
Jatin, also there seems to be a weather change pattern happening. We have seen unseasonal rains in Delhi, in southern part of the world as well. How would you rate that? How would you see that?
There is a risk that is growing. You need to calculate for the best case scenario right now is normal. Let me put it that way. I think that simplifies things. Your worst case scenario is drought. There is a mid case scenario that you might see unfold in June, which is a below normal.
Jatin, final question. And you said central and the southern India looks good as far as the monsoons go. Can you also make a point about what months look good and what don't?
I would say June, July should be okay. I would say there's a risk in August, September, and sitting here today, and now this calculation will change, please come and talk to me a month later, I would say that somewhere near August, September is where the risk will be. I can't, more in September than in August, but that's because the El Nino starts gaining strength at that point of time.
All right, Jatin, we'll let you go at that. Thank you so much for joining us. So that's the private forecast coming in for the weather monsoon for India, while June and July look good. August, September, not so good. And as he's saying, there are more chances of a normal monsoon and some less, but excess monsoon clearly not is the case. That's going to be in 2012.